Math can be fun. Math class is Hitler's wet dream, but the concepts aren't bad. For example, want to know how much money you're going to make? Let's do some algebra. X is the value of your stock portfolio, the amount of money you have in stocks. Y is the bonus for the current mission. And Z is the amount you have not in stocks. How do you calculate it? Let's ask Professor Johnson. Let's say, for example, that you have $150,340 in stocks, and the bonus you're going to receive is $3,500, and you have $140 remaining. Using the power of a calculator, you can find that since you started at $150,480, you will now have $164,503.80.
But what's the equation? How do you know that?
Well, this is what it looks like. So it's really just a matter of plugging in your values for the variables. Wait, what's W? I'm glad you asked. W is the expenses for the mission. If you have to acquire it by any means, then you don't have expenses. If you are provided cash, then the amount you spend on the disc is subtracted from the bonus. If you have a disc to sell, it costs $100, so be sure to factor that in when selling it. So let's see what the values are. The thing you want is Y. The thing you're giving away is W. Cash is $250 a stack, so every stack saved means you subtract less from the bonus. Your cash on hand is Z, and your stock is X. So take that, calculate it through this equation, and you'll see how rich you are after the round. Higher stocks mean bigger jumps from mission to mission. So if it's at $100, and you have a 7% increase, it'll go to $107. But if it's at $400, it'll go to $428. That's 4 times more. You can buy 10,000 shares at max, so if you have $3 million, you can put it all in stocks on a company with $300 stock price. But if it's 100, then you'll have $2 million sitting around doing nothing. Ever wonder how much the damage you do in Sub Rosa costs? Let's find out. Every time you break a window, the shop owner has to replace it. The cost of sheet glass in 1985 is about the same as it is now, not adjusted for inflation. And we know it's plate glass because of the way it breaks. Plate glass costs about $20 per square foot, which is $10 in 1985. So in a window 12 feet by 10 feet, it costs a full mission to replace. Think about that the next time you shoot a window. Flipping the train used to be a thing in 25. Looking to the internet, a typical train car costs about $1 million. But these days you can buy 4 cars for $150,000. Of course, these are cars from 1985. Every time you spawn in, you're provided with a suit, a car, a phone, and a briefcase. So the base cost for every round is $5,200, plus all the other suits and ties. I used this website to find out how much everything would cost back then, and it's really useful. It's cool how cars used to actually be only a few $1,000s. On that note, the Buick Skyhawk did cost $20,000 when adjusted for inflation. The Buick LeSabre was $3,000, but most interestingly of all, a Chevy Astrovan cost $15,000. Also, the town car is an '83 Buick LeSabre. If you disagree, you're bad at the game. On the topic of real-world counterparts, I think it's safe to say that a hatchback is a Mitsubishi Colt, and the minivan is a Dodge Vista. The Turbo is really a medley of a few cars, like the Toyota Supra, but I'm getting way off track. This video was supposed to be about, math and stuff. An AK is 34 inches long. Assuming the models are to scale, we can tell that the tire of a car is a little shorter than the rifle, and that's true in real life too. 285 tires are 32 inches wide. So if you take the tires as one unit, the car itself is 7 5/8 units long. Using his mental capabilities, Professor Johnson found that 7 times 32 is 224. That means that it isn't a Lincoln Continental, and it isn't a Cadillac DeVille. The only car that comes close is the '83 Buick LeSabre, but it's not the same length, so it can't be a 1983 Buick LeSabre. Because it's a 1974 Buick LeSabre. It's the same length as the Samba Isobel town car. Now, you might be thinking, Flippy, you forgot the extra 16 inches left over, making it 240, and the 1974 Cadillac 60 Special was 233 inches, making it the better car. To which I reply, the Fleetwood had this angled front, while the LeSabre's was flat, and in a side-by-side comparison, the LeSabre is the most like the Samba Isobel town car. Hold on, if the AK is 34 inches, then that means players are all 68 inches, or 5'8". But they lose a lot from their stance, which keeps them upright. If people stood up straight, they'd be a full 6'4". Hey, stand up taller, you shrimpy bitch.
What?
Something I have a personal problem with is that magazines are way more than they should be. Even if you buy ammo a single magazine at a time, you're still getting ripped off by $50 a piece. I would never expect this from such a realistic business simulator. Let me know if you want to know anything else in Sub Rosa. This has been Flippy Mapper.